Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
If you're wondering about what you can do if you find yourself in an FCPA compliance action, check out the FCPA Survival Guide. It's my latest book. It's sponsored by Ethico, and in it, I take up and write the top 10 things you can do to reduce your overall fine and penalty if you find yourself in an FCPA enforcement action. So check out the FCPA Survival Guide. The Daily Compliance News for January 29, 2025, the end of Black History Month edition. We begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal, which reports that the State Department has to observe, quote, the spirit, end quote, of Trump's anti-DEI order, and apparently that means celebrating Black History Month, as the story reports that the directive will likely prohibit the agency from openly commemorating the month. So, no Black History Month under the Trump administration. Next up, from Bloomberg Law, the first of a couple of stories from Bloomberg, and this is that Justice Department Public Corruption Chief Corey Admonson has stepped down rather than accept the Trump administration's transfer to the Sanctuary Cities Enforcement Group. The veteran prosecutor is one of the most well-known as a career DOJ employee who's done the work at the department and who is really thought of as one of the top apolitical enforcement professionals in the federal criminal law. What does that tell you about Trump's priorities? That if you follow the law and prosecute under it, that's not what he wants. Next up, using AI, our second Bloomberg story is using AI agent requires a balance of trust, privacy, and compliance. The AI is obviously more ubiquitous now than ever, and legal experts exploring using AI need to understand, or rather all experts, that trust in AI systems is essential. Engaging how much trust to put into AI agents, trusting them with the data, understanding the reasoning, and selecting the actions to advance the agents is a critical element. So, do you have trust and compliance in your AI agents? And finally, perhaps the biggest business news story of the previous day, which was the arrival of DeepSeek, which is a new OpenAI model from China. So this was incredibly interesting. It drove down $600 billion worth of value from NVIDIA. How did the Chinese catch up so quickly? I'd like you to consider that question in the context of modern slavery and theft of IP. Good day. At the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.